Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I am Helen. Hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel. $610,000. Does sister wives Kody Brown resent his Coyote past payout to Janelle and Meri? Did they pressure him into redividing the land before it was sold? Kody Brown recently sold the Brown family's Coyote past land for a whopping $1.5 million. And before he did that, he decided to give his ex-wives Janelle and Meri Brown bigger shares of the Arizona land, which meant that each received $305,000. In other words, he basically gave away $610,000. When he made that sacrifice, Kody seemed like the perfect gentleman. The thing is, Kody might have felt intense pressure to relinquish his 97% ownership of the land. Kody used to insult the long-suffering women who watched him fall deeply in love with another woman. He derisively described them as entitled. That rude remark is just the tip of the iceberg, and Janelle, Meri, and Christine Brown are good women. They waited decades before bailing out. They were really trying to make things work. In return, they were accused of parental alienation after their splits. So how does a man who does that turn into a Disney prince, bestowing favors on hard-up Cinderella Janelle and the always overlooked Meri? Possibly, he didn't change at all. Kody is turning on a dime. Kody seemed to resent the women who'd gone through so much of his life journey with him, and then left him only because he loved someone else. On the surface of things, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Kody pushed them away and then seemed to complain about them. How is that logical? However, he has his own take on things, and his belief is that these women punished him for falling in love with Robin. There may be a grain of truth to this. Back in the old days, the plural marriage seemed less dysfunctional. It was often centered around the children, which made it seem sweet, homespun, and emotionally satisfying. The kids got love from an array of moms, and the family's patriarch loved them too. They did fun activities as a group, and lived together. The days of sledding and pumpkin carving weren't fated to last. The bad blood bubbling up from underneath began to poison the dynamic, hurting Kody, the women, and the children. The now exes couldn't stay the same. Human nature always rears its head. It can't be kept down. While women in polygamy are conditioned to accept a state of silent suffering when they feel very human emotions like jealousy and anger, after decades, it was impossible for the women to really repress all of those feelings. It's hard enough to make it work with one person, much less 4 people. Kody gets all the blame, but imagine how hard it would be. Whatever goes wrong is going to be considered his fault. That creates so much pressure. He's the family's leader, and falling in love with Robin wasn't his fault. The family has been through the ringer, including Kody. He gets the villain edit every single time. People don't really give him a fair hearing, but he has feelings too. Christine felt unloved, longing for passion her husband couldn't provide. Christine found it with David Woolley, who's now her husband. Janelle had the same desires, wanting a real husband, at least some of the time. Meri, cast out after an unfortunate catfishing scandal, was lowest on the totem pole, unable to get Kody's friendship, much less his ardor. A truly emotionally damaging situation that left 3 wives feeling like satellites orbiting around Kody and Robin, who were on their own planet. In their world, there was a core family: Robin, Kody, and their children. Everything else seemed to come second. The pressures on the family reached critical mass. It was just impossible for the Browns to live as they had before, with Kody visiting his non-Robin wives. He was too afraid of contracting the COVID-19 virus. So, the chasm between the core family and the Brown parents are changing. It's easy to be glib about reality stars, but after decades, the love, time, and energy that Janelle, Meri, and Christine poured into the family was significant, and that meant significant pain when things ended. They had swallowed their pride a million times, trying to make a man who was in love with someone else pay attention to them. That is degrading. As people get older, they change, and that's a factor here too. The fighting gets tiresome. Everyone wants peace and happiness. They say that in midlife, a new attitude about ego emerges, and a person is just different. They see the big picture, and want to use the time they have left to get along with others and really enjoy their lives. There's less focus on things that used to be important but no longer are. In a sense, the midlife crisis and its aftermath also destroyed the Brown family. In midlife crisis, the person lashes out, longing for youth that is gone. They may regress a bit. When that ends, there's a period when a person starts looking at their life with a pitiless lens, under very harsh light. They think about what they want for the future. All the Brown parents, Kody, Janelle, Robin, and Christine, are older now and wiser. They have lived and lost. They fought so many battles. The war over Coyote Pass is now over. Garrison Brown has died. These life events have shaped everyone, changing them from the inside out. And so, people are going their own ways or trying to. Each part of the fractured Brown family is on a journey. The journeys are no longer the same. Kody may not have sold Coyote Pass because he wanted to please his exes and make their lives easier. He may have done it because they threatened to take him to court. It wasn't really wrong of those women to believe that they deserved more than the pittance that they would have gotten had he retained his full 97% ownership. They paid into the family too. Kody may have awakened to this, to the inherent unfairness of him owning so much, while they owned so little, when he was the one controlling the money. All of this is quite sticky morally. Yes, he used his money to buy the lion's share, but then again, his wives couldn't freely spend the family money. As the man of the house, Kody made the decisions. This is where the issue of fairness comes in. Now, except for the fact that Christine didn't get a share, fairness is restored. But that doesn't mean that the sister wives star Kody is at peace with his relationships with his exes. In fact, there's probably more drama to come. Sister wives Kody and Janelle Brown open up about painful death of son Garrison and why they wanted to move him to North Carolina ahead of his death. Kody Brown and his ex-wife, Janelle, have opened up about the death of their son, Garrison, and why they were desperately trying to convince him to move to North Carolina before he died. Garrison died by suicide at the age of 25 on March 5, 2024, and his family is now ready to lift the lid on the moments leading up to his death and the painful way they learned he had died. In Sunday's episode of the hit TLC series, Janelle, 55, revealed that she had a feeling something was wrong when she hadn't heard from her son after texting all day long. I knew he was struggling. I always just picked up the phone, and I always make it a point to just talk to him. And it wasn't really about anything. I think he needed the connection, and I know he was talking to, and calling his brothers and stuff too, she told the cameras. Janelle noted that worry consumed her when he kind of stopped texting me. Kody Brown and his ex-wife, Janelle, have opened up about the death of their son, Garrison, and why they were desperately trying to convince him to move to North Carolina before he died. Garrison died by suicide at the age of 25 on March 5, 2024, and his family is now ready to lift the lid on the moments leading up to his death and the painful way they learned he had passed away. I knew he'd been drinking again. He would go through periods where he was really good, and then he just would have a binge, just as part of the cycle, I think. So I called my sons, Logan and Hunter. I texted them, because we've tag-teamed. I said, "Will you guys see if Garrison will respond to you?" They said, "Mom, we're on it. We'll just kind of check on him and make sure he's okay." Janelle previously revealed that she and the rest of the family members had tried to offer Garrison help amid his alcohol struggles. However, something got to him, and he was unable to pull himself out of his addiction. Janelle and Kody's daughter, Madison, confessed that she was attempting to get her brother to move to North Carolina, which is where she and her husband, Caleb Brush, reside. "I was trying to get him to move out here, and so every step that we get closer to it, we talked a lot about that," she revealed in a confessional interview. She added that although they came close to getting Garrison to make the move, he was too deep into his struggles. Kody also opened up about the heartache he experienced following his son's death and how the former couple solidified the next steps. Janelle previously revealed that she and the rest of the family members had tried to offer Garrison help amid his alcohol struggles. Something got to him, and he was unable to pull himself out of his addiction. At the time of Garrison's death, Janelle and Kody released a statement calling their son a bright light. I remember sitting there with Janelle, and I was just going, "Hey, I really just want to take my boy home," he told the cameras. "And so let's take him back to Wyoming, and let's bury him next to Grandma Cheryl. We just totally agreed that would be the right thing." At the time of Garrison's death, Janelle and Kody released a statement calling their son a bright light. "His loss will leave such a big hole in our lives that it takes our breath away. We ask that you please respect our privacy and join us in honoring his memory." The family decided to open up about their son's death after Kody denied accusations he tried to rip off his ex-wives in the sale of their Coyote Pass, AZ, land. Kody, 56, who shot to fame while documenting his life with his multiple wives in the hit TLC series, and his only remaining wife, Robin, had gone in on the property purchase with the reality star's three other partners, Christine, Janelle, and Meri, in 2018 while they were all still together. The family decided to open up about their son's death after Kody denied accusations he tried to rip off his ex-wives in the sale of their Coyote Pass, AZ, land. After Kody's so-called marriages to the three other women began to crumble, questions were raised over the future of the Arizona land, which they bought for $820,000. The group had intended to divvy up the land, which is near Kody's former home in Flagstaff, AZ, and then use it to build 4 homes, one for each of his then-wives and their respective children. Christine chose to sell back her portion of the land to Kody, leaving just Janelle and Meri locked into the property with him and Robin, a situation that both of them repeatedly raised as a concern during filming of their hit show, which aired prior to the foursome's recent sale of the land. Kody shed some light on his side of the story and opened up about why he was so reluctant to try and sell the property even after Meri and Janelle left their polygamous relationship.